Hey you guys, we just wanted to come on here in case you didn't know about Romp It Up. It is our RV music festival with lots of fun events and a Halloween costume contest, a winery tour, a lot of musicians playing, but there are only a couple of weeks left. We just want to make sure and let you know because we have talked to people who have wanted to come and didn't even know it was a thing.
Yep.
So there you go. First year, inaugural year, be there.
Now back to your regular scheduled programming.
It's been a long, long time coming. It's been a long, long, long time. It's been a long, long time coming. It's been a long, long, long time.
We're going quick because it's hot, hot, hot in the truck. We're gonna go over to the lock and dam. I'm trying to hold this camera, you guys, with one arm way out there. And we're gonna go see the lock and dam. We're on the Mississippi River in right just north of Muscatine, Iowa.
I didn't even know that this was Illinois right across until the camp host told us that.
That's not Illinois right there.
They said Illinois is right across.
But then there's another waterway beyond that island, and then Illinois. I know these things. It's not Illinois. That's an island,
Okay.
and then there's Illinois across the water.
Close enough. Let's not get too particular here, okay?
Oh, I'm going particular all the way. I'm all in. I'm deep diving. All right, let's get out of here. It's
Okay.
hot, hot, hot.
It is. Let's do it.
Here we are at Lock and Dam number 16 on the Mississippi River. So we are just on the Illinois side. We just came from the Iowa side, and this is massive. I've seen one come through years ago, and it is a long process. I mean, it is, they got to empty the lock, fill the lock, move the barge on down. It's pretty impressive though. Jacqueline just told me that they give walking tours at 2 p.m. on Sundays, but it doesn't start till Memorial Day. And obviously it's not Memorial Day. Well, not obviously, you don't know what date it is, but it's not Memorial Day. We looked at the map of the boats coming up the river and down the river, and there's really nothing within an hour and a half of us right now. It's on its way, but would have been cool to see.
It's hot out here.
Yeah, it is warm.
I did read that this was built in 1937, and it takes a half an hour, 30 minutes to get through the lock.
Is it a Canadian 30 minutes or a US 30 minutes?
For a boat to get through the lock, it takes 30 minutes. Just saying.
Did you request that I talk to the hand?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
enough.
But it's kind of, I mean, it's neat to see just how huge it is. I wonder how long it took them to build this. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a boat coming through. Like those barges we saw yesterday, I wonder if those had to come through here. Yeah,
They did.
that would have been cool. Ah, too bad we missed it.
So if you're not familiar with lock and dams, this part right down here is the lock, and that's the dam. They bring it through pretty slow and pretty tight. And all different sizes of vessels come through here. It's not just big barges. They call them towboats, which is weird because they actually push the barges, but they call it a towboat. And so they'll come in with little boats too and come through the lock and dam.
RV Life Tip of the Week with Dave.
Hey everybody, welcome to another RV Life Tip of the Week with Dave. I'm Dave, and today I'm talking about things that we do to conserve power when we go to bed at night. One thing, we sleep our Starlink internet, that draws power. The other thing, we unplug our Alexa. We switch our fridge from electricity to, I had to think about that, to LP. We do things like turn off lights, unplug the computer so they're not charging overnight. And then you're not gonna get those nasty alarms in the middle of the night saying your batteries are dead. And these are just some things that we do when we're boondocking. Make sure you check out the 25% off Trip Wizard in the description. And thanks for watching. All right, so here we sit, Jacqueline and I.
Here we go again.
And my brother, Dan, who we affectionately call Vinny, and now we call him
Doomsday Dan.
Doomsday Danny.
You call him that, not me.
Doomsday Danny, because he's the weather guy. He was my brother that when we were growing up, he would watch the weather and he would shush us because the radio was on and he would say, shh, weather, 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 shh. And we would make fun of him, but he also kept us out of a lot of trouble and continues to do so until today, through today, including today. He sent me an email and said, hey, you have some weather, and we're in Iowa right now, right along the river, and this big splotch in the entire United States of red is right where we're sitting right now and right where we're gonna go tomorrow. So now we have to decide, and they're talking hail and possible tornadoes and high winds. So we could leave today and just skip over all of that and get to Minnesota, but we'd have to cancel a bunch of stays at Harvest Hosts. But at the end of the, we'd be safe. And at the end of the day, you want your rig intact. And we were in some hail in the Ozarks, and it is not fun to hear chunks of ice hitting your skylights and your fans and your windows. So
And I don't want to travel, excuse me, but can I get a word in?
So anyway,
and I don't want to travel a long day tomorrow because tomorrow I have client calls tomorrow, so I don't want to have a long day. I have to be able to check in with my clients who I'm helping to get healthy and lose weight as I eat chips, but they are protein chips.
I thought we were talking about weather.
And we are. I would rather just leave today. We were going to go do laundry and then just have a nice little evening, have a little campfire, but I would much rather leave today than have a super long travel day tomorrow.
We'd be up there well before dark and getting out of this and then just figure it out. We might just end up going back to Minnesota early. It's the way it is. And we've been kind of being chased by storms since we left Tucson 3 weeks ago. The beauty is living in an RV, you can move. So the fact that you wouldn't move is kind of crazy to me. I'm not judging any of you, but it's a good idea to move if you can move. So I think we're going to do it. If the weather's coming the next day, why sit and wait for it to hit your camper? So I think, what are your thoughts? You have 10 seconds to speak and tell me what your thoughts are.
Nope, I'll just let you keep going. Keep on keeping on.
Pipes on that thing. That was cool. I'm not a big semi guy, but that one was cool. There you go. That's all I have to say. I got nothing else.
But are you a semi guy?
Sure. Is that Canadian semi?
Mm-hmm.
It's not semi.
No, it's a semi truck.
So it's not semi-sonic. Closing time, open up the doors and let you out into the world.
I do think semi sounds cooler though. I do say semi. That's one of those American words that I think is superior to the Canadian version. However, there are a lot of Canadian words that are superior to the American version, or the pronunciation, I should say.
You probably just started an international incident, not even realizing it.
I don't care. Like toque, foyer, portage, take off, eh? Let's go for a rip. That's my favorite. Great spot, right? Welcome to another Healthy Living Tip with Jacqueline. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about motivation and weight loss. And I want to encourage you to not always concentrate so much on the number on the scale. It can be a good thing to be checking your weight because you want to make sure that you're not gaining a bunch of weight or that you're progressing towards your goal. However, there can be other signs that you are making headway. Those are called non-scale victories. Take a look at maybe how your clothes are fitting. That's a big one, but also other things. For instance, are you able to walk up a flight of stairs and not be out of breath? Can you walk longer? Are you able to get down on the ground with your kids and maybe your knees aren't hurting as much because there's not as much pressure on them? Maybe even take a picture, look at a picture that you had before, just even of your face, and compare. One other good way is to take measurements because you might be building muscle and so your body composition is changing and you might not see that on the scale. Once you take measurements, you'll be able to see that. Focus on the non-scale victories and that'll help keep you motivated. That's been another Healthy Living Tip with Jacqueline. Here to report that we're on our way to Owatonna, Minnesota because we're outrunning that storm. We don't want to be there tomorrow. And now there are storm clouds here and we just checked in with Dave's brother, Dan.
Doomsday Danny.
And he said, Doomsday Danny here to report that you guys are driving into a storm. So he recommended pulling off and waiting. We were just looking at the radar and I think we're gonna take our chances.
Do you think it's bad omen that we just drove through Clearwater or Clear Lake, Iowa, where Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens died in the plane crash? We saw the airport.
No, because we're not in an airplane.
That's a good point.
Well, we made it to Cabela's in Owatonna, Minnesota, which is about hour and a half, hour 15 south of Minneapolis, and about 35 minutes south of where we sold our house in Minnesota. We Red Bulled it, didn't really Red Bull it, but we made some time today to get here. We got in just before dark, which is good. So kind of tradition is we stop here the last night before we head back into where we sold our house. We don't really have a lot of friends there anymore as far as like people we hung out with all the time while we were in town. Mark Ross, our good friend, moved to the cities, and Todd, rest his soul, no longer with us, but he is with us. And so we're just gonna roll in tomorrow and see what we can find for a place to stay. But right now we're gonna stay overnight at the Cabela's and we'll do a little shopping in the morning and look around. Yeah, here we go. We have spent the last 2.5 weeks, I think, as close as I can tell, outrunning storms, like moving because we know a storm's coming. We move, and then it hits again. As we came up yesterday, my brother was saying you might want to hold up and wait until the storm passes before you go through it. Well, it split open for us. We threaded the needle, and then when I checked the radar, it closed in behind us, so we just dodged a bullet last night. And then my brother called today and said, hey, you're under tornado watch, and it's a bad one. And they're talking about, you know, softball size hail and tornadoes and thunderstorms and all that stuff and wind. So we had to make the decision, do we keep heading, trying to get away from it? But we would have to almost drive up to Minneapolis to get away from it, and I don't know where we'd stay. But being at the 𝐭𝐤𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐤𝐢, there are no trees, which is good. That's a good thing. I mean, there are pine trees and stuff, but we don't have any big trees over the top of us. So we talked about it, and I think we're just gonna stay here and ride it out. If it gets bad, there are restaurants here. 𝐭𝐤𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐤𝐢 right there. We can go in there and do some tornado shopping while it hits, and try to figure it out tomorrow. So it's one of the things we've been doing for, like I said, for 2.5 weeks, just outrunning storms. It happened in Canton, Oklahoma. It happened in Muscatine, Iowa, and it's happening again here. But that's life of being on the road. And the only thing I really worry about is well, other than being killed, are the solar panels on the roof and the truck. I don't want the truck all beat up, and I don't want the solar panels and all the skylights all beat up and broken. So anyway, it's on its way, and I'm just gonna ride it out and see what happens. So fingers crossed. Welcome to full-time RVing. Welcome to RVing, period. Eek. And there it is. I don't even have to explain myself. Here it comes.
All right, the weather has finally cleared enough for us to move. Still windy. I'm gonna try to stay out of the wind. Still a little windy, but we were at this 𝐭𝐤𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐤𝐢 in Minnesota, and we actually stayed here 2 nights because we rolled in the first night trying to escape the tornadoes in Iowa, and then it really stormed here too. And then the second night we actually were under tornado warnings here. Oh my gosh. So we stayed an extra night, and nobody came and said anything to us. We're kind of tucked way back here out of the main parking lot. This is where they have you stay. We've been here before, and we're just really grateful that they let us stay for 2 nights. Nobody came and knocked on our door, but we don't want to outstay our welcome. So we are moving today, and we're not sure. We're hoping to get a spot at the fairgrounds. We called there and they said, well, first we left a message. They didn't call us back. Then we called, somebody answered, and they said, okay, well, we're gonna have to call you back. Oh my gosh. So we're just gonna drive there and see what happens. And then if not, we have a friend who has a farm, and we're thinking he will maybe allow us to stay there just for like a night until we can figure out what we're gonna do. But hey,
Hey,
you look like you're dressed for winter.
I do, don't I?
Yeah, that's the one thing. You come to 𝐭𝐤𝐬𝐧𝐝𝐤𝐢 and then you spend money on clothes. I got some things, and we got Dave this jacket.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
With a big zipper this time. The last jacket I got, sorry I'm yelling, it's windy out here.
Yeah.
Had little thin zippers. I hate them. They split at the bottom. Found this one on the clearance rack.
It looks good on you. I found it for you.
You did. You get points.
Yep, because I knew it would look good on you.
Yeah, you get gold stars on your homework.
And a kiss, maybe? That's even better. All right, let's take off.
Gotta go.
Okay.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another episode of the Border Hookups. We appreciate your watching, and we hope that you subscribe and ding that bell so that we can let all of you know as to when we have more episodes coming out here. And don't forget to become a member. It's big time stuff. And we'll see y'all out here.
See you all out here.
Jacqueline needs a shave.